Hey guys, it's Morticia, and I'm not in this episode except for, right here, and maybe a little tiny surprise at the end that's like 3 seconds long. But, yeah, I'm not in this episode. So, as I said last Tuesday on the first special interest podcast, this week was going to, well, not was, is, it is currently. It's going to be a wrestling episode again. And this time, Malice and I aren't part of it, even though we are the hosts of the podcast. But we have a lot of wrestling enthusiasts in the Discord. So we wanted to give them the opportunity to just nerd out for a while. And if you're listening to this, Skullface, sorry you weren't invited. I did not know you were a wrestling fan. I'm sorry. Anyways, yes. So please enjoy Moral, Gloom, and Bunny talking about wrestling. There's some if you're not a wrestling person, I still suggest listening to this because I was confused about a lot of it while I was editing it, but I was still weirdly interested, even though, don't get me wrong, I don't give a fuck about wrestling. I don't know anything about it. The only thing I really care about is Rey Mysterio, but I found myself fascinated and paying very close attention to what they were saying. So even if you don't like wrestling, it's just a really fun episode and they're just having so much fun. So yeah, give it a chance if you don't like wrestling. And if you do like wrestling, we might do another wrestling episode in the future so that Skullface can be part of it. So and are you a wrestling enthusiast? Let me know. You can be on the next one. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and enjoy. Join the Discord if you want to. Join the Patreon. You get stuff early if you are a paid member. If you're a free member, you still get a bunch of bonus stuff. So join that. Be link in the description, all that. And huge thanks to the boys for doing this for me. Okay, enjoy.
Okay, so, all right, let's just get everyone's set up and ready.
Yep, I'm as ready as I'm gonna be, I think.
Okay, so we should probably do some sort of intro.
Yeah, we should. We should talk about how we're hijacking Tish's channel.
Yeah. Okay, so let's. Okay. Give me a second.
Tish was right. These are hard.
Yeah, I'm, because I don't know how to intro for her channel. It's her channel.
I mean, I feel like we could at this point probably just do like a cold open because.
Yeah. Let's just cold open it. Fuck it.
All right, let's introduce ourselves at the very least.
Yeah. Would anyone like to start, or should I go?
You're the veteran here. Everyone
Okay.
knows.
Hello, everyone. This is Moral. I'm here today with some other wrestling nerds. Would you like to introduce yourself, Gloom?
Yep. You guys, if you watched the last episode of the wrestling nerd thing that they're letting me do for some reason, where I talked about Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. But I'm Gloom. I make YouTube videos about video games and stuff.
Okay. And we're joined here with, I don't know how do I address you by the name
Yes.
on the screen?
Absolutely.
BBW Slayer. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I've just been watching wrestling for my whole life. I'm literally looking at a stack of a big shelf of just wrestling stuff right now. It's great.
Yeah, when you sent that screenshot, or not a screenshot, but the picture in the Discord server, in the wrestling chat that we bullied Tish into making, you have so many collectibles.
Yeah. Over 850 right now.
Jeez.
So I don't really know what this is going to be necessarily, other than, I guess, us just nerding out about wrestling. But
Yeah.
I guess I would kind of like to start with when did we watch wrestling? What are some of our favorite moments from growing up watching wrestling? Or I guess even currently, even though personally, I don't think that there's too much happening right now that's exciting. But
Would anyone like to start, or should I just jump in?
yeah, I've been talking for like a minute. I think
Okay.
pass it over to you.
I'm probably the oldest one here, so my earliest memory when I started watching wrestling probably would have been around WrestleMania 6-ish.
Holy.
Yeah. I've been around a long time. My first like vivid memory, my grandfather would take me and my brother out to a friend's apartment to watch WrestleMania 7, and I remember really loving the Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper Intercontinental title match, but like my big thing was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ric Flair. That to me was like the highlight of the entire thing.
That's a goddamn good match.
It's a really good match. What about you guys? What was like your earliest memory?
I remember like the time Kurt Angle was right when he lost his hair and he came out with like that wig thing for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That and early SmackDown, like when Rey Mysterio first showed up, that was.
And you, Gloom?
All right. Well, I've been watching wrestling, honestly, later than you guys did. I started in like 2004, and I watched until like 2007. And it wasn't until like a few years ago that I had gone back and I realized that it was pretty much everything was on Peacock. And so I went back and I watched tons of old stuff from the 90s. But yeah, I mean, 2004 to 2007 was like my prime, my prime time there, like the rise of John Cena, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I would say my favorite memory has to be when my mom, who is not into wrestling at all, took me to a SmackDown event, and it was when Chavo and Rey Mysterio were going at it for some reason.
Oh fuck, I remember.
And Vicky Guerrero was there, and apparently they were doing a storyline where Vicky was like with Chavo or something. And so the audience started chanting, "You're a slut." And I'm like 11 or 12 at this point, and my mom is like sitting next to me in this stadium full of people chanting, "You're a slut." And dude, I was very uncomfortable, but it's probably the most like the memory that sticks out to me the most, just because of how insane it was.
Right.
I fucking dyed my hair green for the Hurricane.
Gregory Helms, baby.
Shows. Like one of the first shows I went to. I remember nothing but the green hair. That was great.
I will die on that hill. Gregory Helms was the best.
It was great. Legit.
Truly. Man, I've had like so many like moments that I could choose from. I think like one of the moments that I'm like I happened to catch I believe it was Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness's final match in Ring of Honor.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got like I managed to get a bunch of people into Ring of Honor just before like I got burnt out from the entire industry and like kind of stopped watching for like a good period of time. But like I know that my best friend I took to see one of the Ring of Honor shows, which featured I think it was Claudio Castagnoli. I think it might have been Nigel just before he left. Tyler Black and was it? I forget like who the fourth man in the four-way was. I kind of feel like it was a Japanese wrestler that I'm his name is escaping. Might have been Tanahashi. No, Tanahashi would have been.
He did a lot of Ring of Honor stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like I brought him to that show, and he became hooked on that ever since.
Yeah.
And like I think it was like a year or so later that Tyler got called up to be Seth Rollins as part of the Shield, and they had there was a ladder match, I think, at one of their pay-per-views. It was the Shield versus like Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Yes, TLC. Yeah.
Yeah. And he got to go to that show and like even yelled out to Seth about his Ring of Honor name, Tyler Black, and like there was that little moment where he winked at him and shit, and like that sold him. Like he's been bigger into wrestling than just following WWE at the time, because like up until that point, like his big thing growing up was just WWE and sometimes WCW, but like mainly the Attitude Era. But so like I like my thing has always been like, I have a deeper connection with like the indie scene because of like that's where you can find the stars before they become like the big stars.
Yeah, that first like 7 to 10 years of Ring of Honor are just nuts.
Yeah.
I ended up finding a few DVDs, and like, oh my god.
Yeah, I had a chance to go to I think it was the first TNA show that that aired in the Hammerstein Ballroom, but I chose not to. I kind of regret it, but at the same time, I was so like done with TNA at that point. Their booking was just such a fucking mess.
Yeah, the fact that I remember, like, this is probably like Hardcore Justice 2010.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
They couldn't use the ECW name for some reason. I think it was like a legal thing. They literally had to say that Philadelphia company over and over again.
Well, I think at that point, WWE had already bought the rights to the ECW trademark.
Yes, yeah, they might have had it then, yeah. But then ECW died right after that. But.
Yeah, I'm very out of my element here. I don't really know anything about indie wrestling outside of like those early 2000 WWE years. I like ECW a lot. I would go back and kind of watch like the older ECW stuff, and I think I caught TNA a couple of times, but I wasn't into it enough to like really know. And that was like 10 or 11 at the time,
Yeah.
So they I'm just like playing SmackDown versus Raw and like pile driving my cousin through his bed,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, those first like 4 years of TNA, and then there's a couple good ones in between are nuts.
Yeah,
from like 2006, 2010-ish. It's the craziest period.
Yeah, the thing about TNA at that point was it was really difficult for new people to get into because they were doing weekly pay-per-view shows since they didn't have like an actual TV deal set up. So like I couldn't blame people. I think they were charging like $15 per airing.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so if it was like it wasn't like the usual pay-per-view prices at the time, which was like $40 or $50. Yeah. But yeah, fucking TNA was one of those things that like, I remember in the very early days of YouTube, there was like this huge divide where people were like really tired of WWE and wanted a change, and like they really grasped onto TNA, and TNA just ended up being WWE light.
Yeah, they brought all the WWE guys in, forgot about the guys they had. It was awful for a bit.
Yeah.
And then they brought Hogan and Bischoff, and oh my god, and Russo, and
well, at that point they were already dead. They just didn't know it.
They've kind of came around somewhat since then, like back to.
Yeah, I hear that they've done some things that like have moved them in a better direction, but like a lot of the deals that they had set up before, I think They sold, didn't they? Like it's no longer owned
Yeah,
by.
there was a selling. I don't
Yeah,
know how much the Jarrett's have in it now.
yeah. Jarrett's been long out of it for a while, even though like it was his father's company at the start. Then it was Panda Energy, I believe they were called.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, with Dixie Carter.
That poor woman had no clue what she was doing.
No, she had no idea. She kind of inherited it just because like God, I forget the story of how like she even got involved. Like
I
she
can't even remember. Yeah,
yeah, she wasn't like interested in wrestling as a whole, and there was a point where they I don't know if they were going to sell to Billy Corgan or
yeah, that was the whole thing.
yeah, and then he ends up buying NWA, and
Fucking kills that company. Holy shit!
yeah, no direction on what he's doing with that.
Here's
No,
Brodus Clay as your world champion when you have Chris Masters right there.
yeah, I mean, just a lot of really boneheaded decisions. Um, but um, I guess we could talk about like other memories that you guys have had, like things that kind of define to you, um, uh, moments that stand out as like whether they were like childhood memories that you hold on to like as rock solid, or maybe some other memories that like to this day you still geek out about when you think about it.
Sure. Um, I played a lot of the WWE video games.
Mm-hmm.
I started at let's see, I think it was Here Comes the Pain. I think was the first one that I really got into. I played the one before that. I don't remember what it was called. It was like
Shut your mouth.
Shut Your Mouth. Yeah, I didn't really play that one too much, but I played a lot of Here Comes the Pain. I played a lot of SmackDown vs. Raw, like those early kind of PS2 titles.
I'll still play them. Like
I've
still have
tried.
them.
I've tried to go back and replay them. They're way harder than I remember them being.
God, I could spend literal hours in like GM mode. It was the best.
And I don't know, like I feel like I never really got into the SmackDown series as much, but just because I was like really into the THQ games, that being like WWF No Mercy. Actually, the my favorite was WCW versus NWO Revenge. I think that one still holds up really well.
Yep.
Um,
I didn't even play it till like a year or two ago. I finally got it. I never grew up with the Nintendo. So I had PS2.
Yeah, I was fortunate in my youth that I was able to get like exposed to a ton of different games, and platforms as well. But yeah, like I did get into a little bit of Fire Pro Wrestling, which is like
Yeah.
which is like the big one for people who really want to like sit back and just create their own wrestling promotion from scratch. It's really
Those games are those games can be crazy.
yeah, they were. I did play like the SmackDown series. I did play Raw versus SmackDown a little bit. Mostly my brother and my friends played that one, but like I kind of touched it from here and there, and I've noticed that they've been getting a lot better in recent years. But like they definitely had those periods where they really struggle to kind of like get a foundation of like what the game is supposed to feel like.
Yeah. They're probably like they're way better graphic wise, but like
Mm-hmm.
their career modes can be just bleh.
Yeah.
But I'll still put on like Here Comes the Pain, play through a career mode for Brock Lesnar just because it's ridiculous stuff you can do with them.
Yeah. In terms of like, who would you guys say is like your favorite wrestler? Like, past, present, and like who you're looking forward to doing more in the future?
Oh, it's such a hard question.
I missed the whole Attitude Era because like I'm only 26. I was born in '98, but every time I go back to it, I always go with Austin.
Right.
Yeah, from the Attitude Era, I would say, I mean, the obvious choice is Austin, but I
Yeah.
also really like Mick Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck yeah, I met him.
Really, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, he did a tour for the 20-year anniversary of the Hell in a Cell.
Oh wow.
He is a tall dude. You don't realize it, but he's like 6'4".
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice guy.
I have a sort of funny story about like the Attitude Era, kind of like those years.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to sound unrelated at first, but I promise it is. So I started working this job. It was like a tech support job, and my boss always seemed like really chill and like really laid back. Like he wasn't. It didn't seem like he had a life of being a tech support boss, right? And so one day we're talking about wrestling, and one of my coworkers brings up, it's like, "Hey, you know that he used to be a professional wrestler?" I was like,
Shit.
"What? There's no way." And so he's like, "Yeah, look him up. His name was Mikey Whipwreck."
Holy fuck!
And I was like, "What?" And so now I'm just watching videos of my boss go through fucking tables.
What the fuck?
Honest, like the coolest boss I've ever had in my entire life.
That's so fucking sick.
Oh my god! Of all the people.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome.
Oh god! All right, so I think we should talk a little bit about Mikey Whipwreck for those who don't know who he is, because as an old head, just hearing that name it brings back so many fucking memories. He was a performer for ECW. He did a little bit of time in WCW around the time when Eric Bischoff was really prone to wanting to steal talent from other companies by overpaying said talent to perform at WCW when they were really struggling to figure out what the hell they were going to do, because they just kept blowing things up. They were allowing pretty much everyone on the roster to run the entire fucking program. So when Mikey Whipwreck came over to WCW, they had the brilliant idea of putting him in the cruiserweight division, which at that point was a shell of its former self. If anyone's ever watched any WCW like cruiserweight matches, you'll know like the peak times would have been around like 95, 96 up until like 97. But Whipwreck had made a huge name for himself as like this lovable. He was kind of like a jobber in ECW from what I remember, but like I could be completely off base here.
Sort of, but he was like an underdog.
Yeah. That's a better way to describe him. He was the underdog. And he had like a really truly 90s style to his wrestling attire. Like he would come out with like a graphic t-shirt and some I guess they were like khaki shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he wasn't like, someone that you would typically see as being a wrestler. He was kind of like what was he like, built at like 5'9", 5'10".
I didn't think that.
Yeah, so he doesn't stand out as like someone that you would think is a pro wrestler, but like, when he got in the ring, he worked, and when he worked, he was solid. So much so that like WCW had the brilliant idea of running him out as just Mikey Whipwreck, whereas at that time, whenever they got like an ECW signee, they would pretty much kill whatever gimmick they had from ECW and dump them with something really silly. The one that comes to mind almost immediately is Mike Awesome being that 70s guy for some fucking reason. Yeah. But so they bring over Mikey Whipwreck. They have him for like, I want to say it was like maybe a month and a half before they just completely axe him. Like just they ran out of ideas of what to do with him.
Yeah.
And they overpaid him, which is great for him, but like awful for like the financial state of WCW at that time, which was just bleeding money.
Yeah. They had Sandman, they had Sabu at points, and
yeah,
like holy fuck.
Yeah, they even they had Rhino before he was Rhino. They had Rob Van Dam before he became the whole effing show. They stole Lance Storm and gave him like this overly Canadian.
I kind of like that the Canadian.
Oh, it was great, but like in terms of like longevity, for some reason they killed a lot of his momentum.
Yeah.
But
worst
then
thing they did for.
Yeah, I mean, like again, at that time when WCW was running, they were practically just shooting themselves in the foot every other week. As a matter of fact, like I don't know about you guys, but like when my friend comes over and we start reminiscing about like the old days, we don't want to watch the good wrestling. We bog ourselves down and watch like the absolute worst of WCW, which is like 99 and 2000, which is absolutely car wreck television. It is astonishing to sit there, and even as the program is explaining what happened before and what's going to happen coming up, you're still left there like, who thought this was at any point a good idea?
Yeah.
God. So much bad television from WCW during that time period.
I still don't understand how you get Mike Awesome, and I like him, but like he was not a good talker, and they're like, we're gonna have him talk all the time.
Yeah,
it was not good.
No, and the best thing they could do is put him in their hardcore division, and like. There's always like some run-ins, and you're just left wondering like, what's even the point of this?
Yeah, they did a show like it was definitely late 90s where they had like something like 15 run-ins in a main event.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
They could not. You can't have a match end clean because you got to protect fucking Vampiro or someone, and I'm like, what? Just get them.
Honestly, I wish they had protected Vampiro at some point.
That guy is nuts.
Instead they're over there protecting guys like fucking Goldberg, who I don't know how do you go about like having one of your big stars, Kevin Nash, be the booker and allow him to go over your biggest star.
Yeah. God damn.
So stupid.
I have a weird love-hate for Kevin Nash.
I will forever hate him, and my favorite memory of Kevin Nash is always going to be that hot tag and him coming over the top rope and his quad just completely giving out on him.
Yeah.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
He did an indie show here too, and that's where I met Chris, Nash, and Rhino. I met Rhino twice. He is a fridge of a human being. Like, he's slightly taller than me right now.
Oh, man.
And I'm under 5'10", but he is as wide as a fridge.
Yeah, Rhino is forever just this big, bulking man.
But Nash, he was nice. That was great. But,
you guys talking about trash television makes me think about when Kevin Nash left WWE for WCW, and Vince McMahon had the brilliant idea to just recycle the characters and bring out Kane as Kevin Nash.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'll give him this. It was an upgrade from the dentist, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Vince McMahon is the pettiest man on all of God's green earth.
Yeah.
That
remember
man
before
holds a
that-
grudge.
Oh yeah, he's also fucking awful. But
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But does anyone remember when he fucking had these two old guys as the Nacho Man and fucking Hulk Hogan?
God, yes. Yes. And then they had the
Huckster.
Billionaire Ted skits.
That was like 6 weeks of TV.
Yep.
I wonder why your ratings aren't up.
Well, in the end, they
damn.
did win the Monday Night War, so
They did, yeah.
he gets
but
the
more
last
so 'cause-
laugh.
More so because WCW could not figure out what they were doing.
Well, yeah, again, it's just they had like the ultimate fucking storyline, NWO versus Sting, and the payoff ends up being something that they had to change at the last second by involving.
Fucked up finish.
Well, yeah, because fucking Hogan, brother, that's just not gonna work for him.
That don't work for me.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have them adding in at the last second, since they just got Bret Hart. Why not have Bret Hart involved in a screw job finish, which just completely undermines what he's trying to get away from.
Yeah, and they didn't know what the fuck to do with Brett at all either.
No, not a clue. Like, again, it
And
was just
fucking- Yeah.
yeah, it's just, hey, we want to hurt WWE, so we'll sign one of their stars and give them more money than what they would have made it over there, and then we'll try and figure out what to do with them later.
If you ever look, just lose your mind. Look up some of the contracts and some of the clauses they were able to get away with. It's amazing for WCW.
Yeah.
Hogan got like 25% of every pay-per-view
Yeah.
right off the bat. He worked, 5 of the 12 pay-per-views?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Almost never lost clean.
I don't think he ever lost clean during...
Very rarely. Like Goldberg beat him clean,
Oh, that's right, yeah. Goldberg did beat him clean.
but and it's so funny. WCW were they had insane undercard matches, but their main events for most of the Monday Night Wars sucked ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then WWE had decent main events, but their undercard was not always trash, but it was
It was borderline.
yeah.
Like, when people talk, about the glory days of Attitude Era, they kind of...
Yeah.
There's almost very rarely a mention of something that was from, like, the undercard.
Yeah. Here's Steve Blackman, which he seems like a cool enough dude, but wasn't a great wrestler. Here's Steve Blackman in the most random match against the most random dude ever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got fucking Rey Mysterio and Ultimo Dragon.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Again, the glory days of WCW's Cruiserweight division, which they kind of fell into. That was another thing that they stole from WCW, actually, was...
yeah, they tried it.
yeah, well, they stole a lot of the Mexican wrestlers. Juventud, Rey Mysterio, Super Crazy.
Well, they didn't get Rey till after WCW, but they did get Super Crazy and Psychosis years later.
Wait, who? We're talking about WCW, though, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying they got them later. WWE did.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fuck. I feel like there's is there anything that you guys are watching now that has you really interested in wrestling still, or
Oh yeah. I watch currently, but I'll go back and watch I watched Sting versus Vader from 1994 yesterday, and I was like, God damn, that fucking rules.
what about you,
No,
Gloom?
I don't
fucking
know.
love Big Man Vader.
I proposed the idea to do the wrestling episode in March, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I
something
was
like that.
excited for WrestleMania and all that stuff, and then
Right.
unfortunately it got pushed back so many times, and I stopped watching wrestling again
Okay.
after WrestleMania. I was like, all right, I've seen what I need to see, and I'm gonna go back to not watching anymore.
I don't see
That's
every
fair.
week's Raw, but like I know what's going on. But
Mm-hmm.
like every pay per view on there, I fucking you want to talk about dark days. Fucking like 2016 to 2019, there was some good stuff, but before they figured out what the hell to do with Roman Reigns, oh my god,
Yeah.
like it nearly killed me.
I had been screaming from the high heavens that Vince just needs to start booking Roman Reigns like you do Razor Ramon. Like, just let him be a badass no matter what, whether he's face or not. But, you know, it took them a long time to finally figure out that, like...
6 years.
Yeah. And at that point, we had already seen, Roman versus Lesnar about 8 times by that point?
They have two WrestleMania main events of that match, and neither are good.
It's not even that
it's
they're
weird.
neither are good. No one wanted to watch them.
That too, but like...
Yeah, they couldn't get anyone to care.
They kept doing that same match, and there might be one good match in the whole series.
Yeah.
And they sure as fuck won't WrestleMania.
Nope. Yeah, and plus Brock was like really difficult to work with around that time because like at that point, if he didn't like you or if he didn't care about like what this was going to do for anyone other than him, like he's not going to put on a. From my understanding, he was really excited to be working with AJ Styles.
He loved the smaller guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's so easy.
Yeah, and there was another guy that I'm trying to remember that he worked with.
He worked Brian. He worked Bray.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like sometimes the business can be like for me, from what I've noticed, the business can be something that drains a person of like any passion.
Politics.
Yeah, it's a lot of politics. It's a lot of backstabbing as well, and it's a lot of just underhanded business that just kind of puts people off. Like, how many times have we seen the fans revolt at Royal Rumble victories, and end up wanting to see someone else be the main event instead?
Yeah.
It was like a growing trend for almost a decade at that point.
Well, the worst Rumble they had was like fucking 2015 maybe. It was 2015. Yeah, I think 2015. Everybody wanted Brock. No, 2015 or 2014. They booed Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
That's how you know you fucked up.
Yeah. Like Mysterio comes out at number 30 when everyone's anticipating Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan at the time. And here comes Rey Mysterio, who we all knew was coming back for that match. And he has the unfortunate favor of of signaling to the fans, "Hey guys, you're not getting what you wanted. Sorry, it's me."
Yeah. And they dumped Ziggler right away, who people wanted to win.
Yeah.
People forget he was a big deal.
Oh man, yeah. I never got behind the Dolph Ziggler name, but I did see.
I hate the name, but
yeah,
he was good.
He did excellent character work. He did excellent. One of my philosophies for what makes a great wrestler is someone that not only knows how to like, perform moves, but like make their opponent look really good. So it's like,
oh yeah. That was his thing.
Yeah, and like Dolph Ziggler was surprisingly like one of those really good workers that I would kind of get behind, but like always remember, oh yeah, they saddled him with this stupid name that's never going to get over.
But it did.
I mean, it did to an extent, but like
he got a concussion during his after they finally get him the belt.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately gets a concussion, and it just fucked him.
I feel like they could have. So one of the things that I've always criticized about WWE is that like sometimes they played it too safe, especially during the period where they no longer had like direct competition. Like everyone would always say, "Oh, TNA's No, it wasn't.
No.
It was
No.
never on the same scale as like what WCW was. Shit, even
No.
ECW had a bigger fucking influence on the business than TNA ever will have. And the thing that irks me the most is when they decided that they're going to give Ziggler the title was the night after Mania with his Money in the Bank contract instead of doing it the night of.
Yeah.
It completely demonstrated that they were just too afraid to have like him do that big moment. And then what happens later, Seth Rollins gets to be the first person to cash in Money at the Bank at WrestleMania, and like it's a historic moment. Everyone was really into it, and you know,
he saved the match.
He saved an entire fucking night is what he did.
Yeah. I could have been at that Raw when he won the title.
Oh man,
I'm so mad I didn't go. I was so tired because I actually got to see that WrestleMania the night before, which was great. I mean, it wasn't great, but like I got to see Undertaker's last great match.
Yeah, I mean, going to Mania is more about like just the environment more so than the card at this point.
Yeah, but this was back when they did a one night show, 8 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy God, the pre-show and then like the actual show must have been 7 hours. It felt like.
Sadly, that sounds like a typical ROH show around 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you guys know about like Gabe Sapolsky, the booker at the time, but like
a little bit.
He was notorious for just having his shows go on super long because he wanted to give every match breathing room, and it's like I can do without like 12 minutes of Special K, thank you.
Yeah.
You guys are throwing out a lot of names, and I'm like, I'm just happy to be here.
Well, hey, jump in and tell us if there's any names that you want me to like elaborate on, because
yeah, you seem to be quite the encyclopedia.
Yeah,
I particularly liked ECW growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just I was like really edgy as a kid, so
I was
I was really into that, and I think one of my favorite events that WWE has ever put on was One Night Stand 2005, where every match was a hardcore match.
Yeah,
like the ECW talent got a chance to really shine. They didn't have John Cena in the main event. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to remember that card.
RVD was hurt, if I remember right. His knee was fucked.
That was when JBL just socked the Blue Meanie in the head.
Yeah.
Fucking
goddamn JBL. My favorite JBL story has nothing to do with JBL, but apparently at like some overseas tour or something, he got just fucked up drunk, and Joey Styles knocked him out.
Wow.
Joey Styles, the commentator.
That's really funny to think about, actually.
I need this to be true.
Oh, I want to live in the world where that's true.
Yeah, and apparently Steve Blackman back in the Attitude Era did too.
Yeah,
all the guys to fuck with Steve Blackman.
Yeah, Steve was like a legitimate karate expert. So like the idea of Bradshaw being this big old bully trying to impose on Steve Blackman just because he's bigger than him is so on brand to me.
Yeah. He seems like he's calmed down a bit now over the years, but yeah. Steve Blackman.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, Steve Blackman was bigger than what he was in the Attitude Era. He had malaria. He lost like 50 pounds.
Oh, jeez.
He got bit by like some sort of bug, and he got this awful disease for like a couple of years. Yeah, he was jacked into the Attitude Era, but like his early wrestling days is insane. He looked nuts.
My favorite moment from One Night Stand 2005 is a moment that you can't fully experience it anymore because of copyright.
I think I know what it's going to be. Yeah.
Sandman's entrance
Mm-hmm.
is probably like one of the greatest moments, I think, for me and like all of wrestling, is just him coming in through the crowd, the entire crowd singing "Enter Sandman."
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good.
He is proof that if you are over, you are over, because he could not wrestle a lick.
Not at all. That match was awful. That entrance, though.
The entrance is sick. So
Him and Tommy Dreamer just throwing beers back into the audience. It was awesome. That's what I love the most, though, about professional wrestling is just like the over the top like personality
Mm-hmm.
that could come through, and like it comes through there in a way that it couldn't anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are just meant to be wrestlers. Like,
Yeah, like
what the hell would RVD do if he wasn't in wrestling?
professional stoner?
I guess, but
I think like one of the most surprising things that I've learned over the years is that like Logan Paul, quite possibly the most disgusting human being that has ever crawled out of YouTube, is really good at understanding wrestling.
yeah, you get.
Yeah, unfortunately, he gets it.
Yeah, it's about the only thing he gets.
I think it was made. He was made for wrestling, and he just didn't figure it out until he did a whole bunch of horrible shit.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. It blows my mind how, like, he was one of those guys that, like, I wanted not to see involved in anything wrestling when they first announced him, just because I was like, the personality is just going to be god awful, and it doesn't matter how athletic he is, but, like, you know, actually seeing him and seeing him over the years develop, it's just been like, man, why can't you be, like, even slightly decent as a human being?
Yeah. He was like an amateur wrestler or something too.
Yeah, I believe he was into amateur wrestling.
Like way back in like the Vine days, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I recall seeing a Vine or two back in the day where he's in like full wrestling gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fucking bastard, he gets it.
And you know what? It's, as much as I hate to say this, he's pretty entertaining in the ring.
Yeah.
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 I see his matches, I'm like, wow, these are good.
Yeah, he's like, he understands the business enough to kind of, like, you know, do well within it. The problem is that, like, as a person, you just can't root for the guy.
Yeah. But there's also always been guys like that, like fucking Jimmy Snuka murdered a woman. It's almost confirmed pretty much at this point.
I mean,
By the time they get around to charge him, he has stomach cancer and dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear it from anyone that tries to be an apologist towards him.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, or Vince McMahon. Like, Vince literally is on record as having told Snuka, do not speak English in front of the cops.
Yeah.
So, like, he's an accomplice to that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, the rumor for years has been Vince McMahon walks into a meeting with the police with a big briefcase, leaves no briefcase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Snuka, fucking. I love Stone Cold, but he legit beat his wife at one point.
Yeah. I saw a sign at a wrestling event that said something. It was a joke about Stone Cold beating his wife. I don't remember what the sign said, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that, and that was actually, it was pretty funny because I think he was there at the event.
Yeah. I still love that the one time he was supposed to put over a young talent, it was Brock Lesnar, and his excuse for having an injury to bump him off the card is that he pulled his back moving his couch.
Wait, what?
Have you not heard that one?
No, what I've heard him say is
so the story goes that Vince had come up to Stone Cold and told him that we need you to put over Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one match. I think it was supposed to be for like a pay-per-view.
no, it's supposed to be a Raw match. That's what
Oh, was it supposed to be Raw? I thought it was supposed to be a pay-per-view.
it was supposed to be. A King of the Ring qualifier.
Yeah, so they wanted him to lose to Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar became who he is now. Because they still weren't entirely sure that he could become this massive player without a big name on his body count, and apparently Stone Cold ends up pulling like his back or a quad or something, moving his couch that weekend.
God damn.
And that's how they excuse like not having Stone Cold versus Brock, but like we did kind of get a glimpse of that at WrestleMania 20 when Steve Austin was the special guest referee for Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, which was
fucking awful.
Oh, he was the only saving grace to that match.
He couldn't even save it.
Yeah, I mean, look, him as a special guest referee and getting the Stone Cold Stunner, both guys as they're walking out of the company, that left a lot of people happy. That's all it was.
Yeah. Yeah, in the span of like 2 weeks, Brock says, I'm leaving. Goldberg says, I'm leaving. Yeah. And it leaked out onto the internet, and everybody was like, fuck these guys.
Yeah. The match that everyone was going to be looking forward to ends up being a big stinker because everyone knows that none of these guys are sticking around, so the finish doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whoever wins doesn't really care. No one cares.
Yeah. But the good news is the matches on that show that were supposed to look did, except the ending is cursed. Fuck. I was such a fucking big Benoit fan.
I was never a fan of like the bigger guys like Goldberg, Lesnar. I just didn't really care much for their style. And I feel validated finding out all these years later that Goldberg wasn't a good wrestler.
It's fucking terrible.
His best match to this day is when William Regal started just fucking stretching him out.
Yeah.
I love how
there's an interview.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, there's an interview where he's asked about that match, and Regal, with his accent, he's like, "I can't wrestle myself. This guy didn't do it. This guy didn't help me at all."
I love how so many wrestlers now have podcasts and just long form content in general, because we get to hear all these stories that would have never, come out otherwise.
It's still weird as fuck to see the Undertaker with a podcast, though.
I prefer this to the alternative where guys were still taking money from Rob Feinstein to end up on RF video to do the shoot interviews.
Oh my god, the shoot interviews!
Like the biggest thing about why Rob Feinstein still had a place in wrestling is just because there weren't that many venues for guys who were leaving the business or were out of the business to make money. So him paying them to just sit down in front of a camera and talk about old stories, that's good money for them. And unfortunately, it kept Rob Feinstein relevant for way longer than he should have been after he got busted.
What is that story anyway? I know some of it, but
so
didn't he get sort of caught?
So back before Perverted Justice ended up doing a deal with Dateline NBC, they ran a sting with a local I think it was a local affiliate of NBC in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, it would have been
Yeah, so they ran a story where they invited guys over to a sting house, and one of the people that they ended up catching showing up to the sting house was Rob Feinstein.
Oh shit, he showed up.
Yeah, he showed up, and he's been ducking and dodging the allegations for years that that the the chat log as we see it is authentic. He claims that it's been edited, that things are taken out of context, that but like, bro, all these years you're still trying to fight that, and like you haven't presented anything alternative to the chat log that they had presented. You don't have a story, you don't have a case. But like, because he came from a little bit of money, he was around the wrestling scene since like the mid 90s, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And because he was able to kind of float his finances around, he was able to ingratiate himself within the business a little bit longer after that sting operation. And RF video is still something that was like very profitable.
I think it still is.
Yeah.
At least somewhat.
Yeah, I don't know if how much ownership he still has in RF video though, because
yeah,
I think he did sell at least part of it. But yeah, like just the idea that now wrestlers can go anywhere else and get money to talk about old stories is uplifting to me, just because it probably means we'll finally be rid of this fucking cockroach that is Rob.
Yeah.
I think Tish and I are planning on doing the Rob Feinstein chat log reading.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
So I'm gonna need someone there that has a little bit more information to give the backstory, because I don't know any of this.
Man, there is so much like stuff about Feinstein that is kind of like that is a bit lost to the echoes of time now, because around that time the places that were really talking about him have kind of like died out. Like most of them were forums and stuff. Yeah, and like who the fuck's still keeping up a forum at these days? But like from my memory, there was a lot of heat. He was owner or part owner of Ring of Honor during its inauguration years. I think he ended up selling around 2005 when news of his bust was circulating, and there was a post from CM Punk calling him out, but like the one that really demonstrates that like you Rob better not cross this man's path ever again in life was Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe straight up threatened that man's life, and I think that is poetry.
That sounds like Samoa Joe, and I love that.
Yeah, Samoa Joe is like the coolest fucking guy to come out of Ring of Honor, honestly.
TNA fucked him so bad.
They had no idea what to do with him. Same with WWE for the longest time when they had him.
Well, I think when they had him, he was older-ish for wrestling, and he was getting hurt a lot.
Yeah, but like the thing was that like even when he was healthy, they didn't quite have like an idea of like from my understanding, Joe and AJ Styles were guys that Vince didn't really know anything about, and like because he was still like the head booker at the time, he didn't know what to do with them. He didn't know why these guys were like so prevalent.
Yeah, no, anything outside of WWE for a long time, Vince was like had no idea.
Which is odd considering that, like, up until he bought WCW, he was pretty in on like, the rest of the wrestling scene. Like he knew which guys to pilfer from ECW. He knew which guys to poach from a lot of the territories when building up the WWF's Rockin' Wrestling roster back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, he had a great head for, like, picking out talent. But, like, as the years went on and it became clear that, like, he didn't have to worry about, like, what the fuck to do with the rest of the wrestling industry. He could just focus in on making his money off of his monopoly. He stopped giving a fuck.
Yeah. He got But it's funny because even if you go back to like the Attitude Era, there's signs where like you can kind of see like he doesn't fucking fully know what to do right now, but they
Yeah.
were so popular it just kept working.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't quite understand the appeal of South Park at the time when the New Age Outlaws adopted it for
Yeah.
their look. He didn't quite understand the what was the big one? It was like, oh god, I feel like it was related to no, Naked Medium was all his idea.
Oh God.
That was entirely him.
Yeah, that's a Vince idea. Yeah, let's put an out of shape guy in quite literally the least amount of clothing possible.
Put him in. Put him in.
I don't even know what to call what he wore. Like,
It was a nude thong. It was skin toned thong with a panty pack
And
to cover his
"What are you
junk.
talking about?" And I am grateful.
I'm telling you, there are so many horrors.
The Attitude had enough of it.
Yeah, if you've been watching wrestling long enough, you'll start to realize, holy shit, there was some really bad stuff going on in the wrestling world that was played up for yucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the worst things. Well, I mean, there's probably worse that I could think of, but the two immediate ones that I have been thinking of, like as you guys have been talking, is the Edge and Lita stuff.
Oh god,
They
Holy
tried to
shit.
do, and then Eugene.
Ah, Eugene.
man. Justice for Nick Dinsmore.
I love Eugene.
He made the character work as best he could.
Yeah.
He really did.
And I don't think they ever said like what he had either, like in storyline.
No, they just played it up for like, oh, he's just special.
Yeah.
God. And the sad part is that's not even the only wrestler that Vince has ever used that gimmick with.
Oh my God.
There was oh god, what was his name? Cletus?
Yes.
Festus, something like that.
Yeah.
And, like, and then god, there's like two more that from well before Eugene showed up on the scene. Fuck, I
George
really
Animal Steel was kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, George the Animal Steel, but like that was his own creation. That wasn't like Vince telling him to act that way. But like I think that's where Vince kind of like really held on to the idea, like, hey, it worked for George the Animal Steel. We could continue to do this infinity. But God, there was fuck, man. The number of like really bad ideas that Vince McMahon has come up with, and yet this man is still like the fact that he was able to stave off bankruptcy after Hulk Hogan left is a sign that like WCW was just never meant to be.
Well, here's one you may or may not remember. He has the Road Warriors. Now they're old, kind of past their prime at this point, like late 90s. Road Warrior Hawk is actively going through addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the time.
Yeah.
And they did a storyline where he was like coming out drunk and stuff, and
oh yeah.
And then they have another guy push him off the Titantron to his presumed death.
Oh God. Yeah.
I
think this was around the time that they wanted to write him out.
I think I lost audio.
Oh shit! No, you're good.
Hold on, I'm gonna leave and come back.
But yeah, I think that was around the time that they wanted to write him out so that way they can utilize Darren Drozdov.
Oh, fuck Droz. God,
Poor fucking Droz.
And he just died a couple years back.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. That was weird.
All right. Oh fuck. Okay.
All right.
I love that he never blamed D'Lo though.
No. Like he knew that it wasn't D'Lo's fault, despite many
Yeah.
people trying to make it D'Lo's fault.
I've seen an interview with D'Lo talking about that, and he's still fucked up over it.
And it's a crazy thing, you know. You have another person's life in your hands when you're performing out there, and for something to go wrong, that could mess you up. You know, like even to this day, Marty Jannetty still talks about like that incident with oh god, what's his name? It was some
Yes. I think
yeah,
it was like a jobber guy,
yeah, it was a jobber
Chuck Austin or something. I think. Why do I remember that?
I don't.
Yeah, but anyway, he takes the move, and the problem was the guy took the move wrong.
Yeah.
He like spiked himself, and he tried to sue Marty, Sean, and the whole company.
Yep. And all because Vince just didn't want to pay out when the guy said he was hurt.
Yeah.
Could have it could have paid out a couple $1,000 and thing would have gone away rather quickly. But that's Vince for you, man. Like Vince likes to skirt the issue as much as possible until it goes into in front of a judge.
Yeah. Well, the one that I still don't understand is Owen Hart dies on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because not like Vince didn't push him, say, but like the story is like the harness was only supposed to be used for like lowering tools basically to people, and instead they put a 230-pound man in it.
Yep.
And it worked early in the day, so it's wild that it didn't work at night, but they do it at night, and I still don't know if he accidentally if his costume got caught and hit the quick release or what. But yeah, he dies, and they finish the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, because Owen would have won it." Like, no, the fuck.
No.
I think Owen would have wanted to stay alive. Actually, I think that's what he would have wanted.
No. Yeah.
And Bret Hart has to find out mid-air on a plane.
Yeah.
Like,
it's when you think back to that time frame and realize like they had done a redo show when they lost power, despite the fact that they continued to perform in front of a crowd with no power. You start to realize that like Vince really does like to no matter what, try and finish out a show.
Yeah,
he knows how much that's going to cost him to have to like evacuate early because people are going to want their money back. But like even at the end of it, like they're still going to want their. Hey, I just saw a guy die in the middle of the ring. Maybe I might want a refund.
Yeah.
It's
you just mentioned earlier about something going in front of a judge, and it made me think. I think this would be a fun thing to talk about. Mm-hmm. Our favorite incidents of wrestlers committing crimes.
Holy shit!
other than the very obvious one that I don't want to talk about.
Oh, I think I know that one. Yeah.
Oh man, we could talk for an hour about New Jack alone.
You know what's so weird to me? They're fucking president of their company right now.
Mm-hmm.
He loved New Jack, and he's the reason he's in the game now as like a character. How fucking random is that?
Oh my god, wrestling is just one of those weird things.
Fucking New Jack just about killed a kid in the ring.
Yeah.
Fucking mass transit.
Oh god, yeah. That's one of those really infamous situations that, like, you that's one of the biggest black guys in all of the wrestling industry.
Yeah, if you're Paul Heyman, how do you not verify the guy's age and just believe him? Like, he was a big kid, but like, Jesus.
I mean, Paul was willing to also cut corners to save some money because, like, again, he knew how much the business was taking, and it's amazing. It's a miracle that he was able to keep the doors open for as long as he did. But like, man, in hindsight, you realize maybe they should have saved a couple bucks and just closed a little bit earlier.
And it didn't help. He literally called out the network on air multiple times.
I mean, you know, what were they? They weren't even Spike TV at that point. They were what, the
TNN?
TNN.
Yeah. They're like fucking Triple H going on Raw now. I mean, like, Netflix sucks. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's like, what are you shitting on the fucking on your broadcast company for?
Yeah, I just saw a video of that the other day. Actually, just popped up, and I was like, "How the fuck did ECW last
I don't know
for that long?"
I mean, there's so many, like, the world of wrestling has many villains within it that have stood before a judge, and it's astonishing how many of them still to this day kind of find work. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't around when the Velveteen Dream ended up getting cut. Like,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
and now, like,
That
I'm
fucking idiot.
yeah, I found a video not too long ago that talks about how he's still getting, you know, some work out in the indie scene, and
Somebody will pay him.
yeah, and it's like, you know, here's a guy that had tremendous talent, a really good understanding of the industry, and he threw it all away because he just couldn't help himself but to be a fucking just a giant perv.
Yeah. I've heard it said before, but sometimes, what the fuck is this saying? It's like, if you're ever that horny to consider doing something that stupid, just go jerk off and then think about it.
Yeah.
You won't do it. But yeah, no, Velveteen Dream, and he was like 25.
Yeah, he was
Something
really young.
like, what the fuck?
I was
Velveteen
reading the
Dream.
other day about Sunny and how she got sentenced for
Holy
DUI
shit!
crash.
Yeah.
That one caught me by surprise because I was just watching like late '90s WWE or WWF at the time, and I was like, oh damn, like I like her. She's funny and, like, you know, has a good presence. I wonder what she's up to now. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
in jail. All right.
And the crazy thing about Sunny is that, like, she had already kind of gone through, like, the lowest point in her life where she was dealing with a drug addiction, and
Yeah.
she was being taken advantage of with some sex exploitation website with another
Yeah.
former wrestling icon, Missy Hyatt.
Oh yeah.
And, like, then she manages to get her life around and start getting, you know, bookings again. She started up, I think the first place that really gave her a second chance at, like, the industry was Ring of Honor. Like, WWE is willing to start talking to her again to bring her back up for, like, some sort of tribute to Chris Candido, possibly involve her in the Hall of Fame. And now to hear this, it's like, damn, she really couldn't keep anything in her life, like, straight ever. Like,
well, she's
yeah, I'd say the constant that kept her, like, somewhat fine in terms of, like, maintaining a proper lifestyle for herself was Chris. And once he passed, like, she had nobody to really rely on to help her.
Yeah, but he had issues too.
Yeah, but, like, again, like, she hit rock bottom after his passing. So, like, I don't know, man.
She was also fucking Shawn Michaels at the same. Well, not when he passed, but
yeah,
in the '90s,
yeah,
openly, like, cheating on him.
Yeah,
pretty much. But what's fucked about Sonny is that could have been Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Like, how many fucking DUIs did he get? And he's still getting work, which I don't really think he should, but okay.
Yeah, he is so fucking, like,
He was my guy growing up. Like,
yeah, he was such a great talent. And then it's understandable why a lot of these guys end up with like drug addictions, because like the industry
the schedule was crazy.
The scheduling, the toll that your body goes through, the long days on the road just traveling, it takes it drains you mentally and physically, and like, you know, the worst part is like the real money for a lot of these guys isn't on the televised shows. It's when they're performing just for a house crowd, you know?
Yeah.
So to miss out on those dates, you would have to be really established and be making a lot of money guaranteed on your contract. Otherwise, you miss those shows, you miss out on a paycheck.
Yeah.
And it's
like
really fucked.
Yeah. Even the Usos have had DUIs.
Oh, that's right. I had heard about one of them.
Yeah, I think fucking Jay has like 3 right now. I think they both have a couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jay got 3 or something. And how did they punish him? They didn't. They gave him the tag team titles.
Yeah.
And then they had him win the world title.
Yeah. That's kind of how the business works, man. If you make them money, well, your DUI doesn't really count. If you're not making them a lot of money, all of a sudden, hey, we might have to let you go.
Yeah. But yet, guys, like, fucking RVD gets pulled over with a couple pills and weed, and they're like, okay, you're losing both titles, and fuck off.
Yeah.
Now, he was driving high, I think, which... And, of course, he was with fucking Sabu.
Yeah, so it doesn't help the allegations.
And now, meanwhile, weed's, like, legal. Like...
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. It is a wonder. Like, the wrestling industry is something else.
Like, fucking you had X-Pac wrestling AJ Styles, a young AJ Styles in TNA on meth. He has said this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of how good AJ Styles was or how good X-Pac was, but it wasn't that bad. I don't understand.
One of them was on meth.
X-Pac.
X-Pac, yeah.
I was gonna say the way you phrased
it wasn't
it,
AJ.
I'm not sure which one of this sentence is.
Yeah, X-Pac was fucking good too.
The only thing that AJ is fucked up on is the shape of the world.
Yeah. A lot of people think he's homophobic or something too now.
Oh yeah, there's an infamous story when
yeah. He's like asked by he's doing a radio interview, and he's like, the interviewer's like, what do you think about your following in the gay community? And in the loudest southern accent, you just hear, the gay community?
Oh, there's an infamous story.
I don't know if he's pissed.
Oh no, he's really pissed. He's really pissed. Because I don't know if you heard about this one, but like, there's an infamous story of him working a match. It was this is.
Oh, is this the fucking not my Jesus thing?
Probably. I know.
He gets like mad after a match.
He was in the middle of a match. I think this was just before TNA had signed him, and he's working some local guy, and he just drops the F-bomb. Just straight up calls him an F slur. It's like that has never left him. He is forever going to be dogged about that one.
You just know, like, a fan has just gone up to him and just went, the gay community.
As talented as AJ is, that man is just like, he is so far disconnected from reality at times.
Yeah. But yet they reward Jey Uso for DUIs. Randy Orton, when weed was not legal and stuff, he would literally add up his fines, what they would be, and hand them to whoever, and say, "Yeah, here's my fines because I got to fail the test."
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And Randy Orton's another character, I swear to God.
He was a menace. Like in real life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The number of stories of him, like, terrorizing coworkers, destroying
Slapping in bags.
That was lotion!
Yeah.
It never gets old. And I love that, like, his biggest, like, proponent for all these stories is Cody Rhodes. He just can't stop gushing about, like, the glory days of Randy Orton being an absolute menace.
Yeah, the first time they meet or something, Orton rips a urinal off the wall. And then the company finds out, freaks out, they have a big meeting. And they're like, so who did it? And Randy Orton gets up, it's like, tell me right now! You know, Orton fucking did it.
God, I still remember when the news had broke that he had just had his first daughter with his wife, and as a tribute, he got like this giant rose tattoo on his forearm, and like,
oh shit, that's what that's from.
Yeah, and then like months later, it's almost all completely covered up with his sleeve of demon soul, of skulls and tribal shit. Because I do remember him catching some flack about the rose tattoo for a while there. It was just ripping on him for it. It's like, well, shit, now I gotta man it up.
It's so weird watching old matches and he has like 2 tattoos. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he had the big tribal tattoo on his back. That is just like worst fucking decision of his life. So goofy looking. And then he had that rose tattoo on his forearm, on the inside of his forearm. I think it was on his left arm.
Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah.
It's like watching Undertaker in his early years too. Bare arms completely. I'm like, what the fuck?
Nothing is ever going to top when he came out as the biker and across his neck just says Sarah.
Yeah, that didn't last.
I think she stuck around for like another 8 months after that tattoo. Before he
had the action figures from when he had that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually put it on the figures.
That they did.
So embarrassing for him.
I remember fucking Fatter Taker when he came back in like 2000 after being off for like almost a year, and he is fucking thick. That goddamn awful like jacket jeans attire he had for a while. Fuck that. Man. He was like 350, which he was already a big dude, but like holy fuck.
Yeah.
He said at the time he was trying to get bigger, which I do not believe. I think he just ate all the food. But
yeah.
He comes back and he's like, I couldn't even fit in the fucking MRI machine. Or something.
Yeah.
Like.
Alright, so I guess we could just end it here. Tish, from us wrestling nerds to you and your lovely audience, we would just like to say goodbye.
Yep.
It's been an honor to be in your presence. I was not aware that I was dealing with an encyclopedic knowledge of wrestling. I will be messaging you about various things as I think of them.
By all means, feel free.
This has been a great conversation. I'm really happy that we had the opportunity to do it.
Hey, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad to have just sit around and shoot the shit about like some wrestling stuff with you guys.
All right, I think that went well. I think she's going to be happy.
You're right, Gloom. I was happy with it. Thank you.